I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, November the 27th, where as we start this week, it continues, no respect from the board at all after all the bullish fundamentals that we had around the Thanksgiving holiday, but the board ignores, but cash responds early this week, and it was good to see that. But you look at the board on Monday, December live cattle futures down 17 cents to end the day at 116.92. February's down 27 cents at 120.65. January feeder cattle down 22 cents at 149.15, and March was actually up 22 cents at 146.15. But look at the weighted average on last week's big successful negotiated fat cattle trade. 119,300 head of negotiated sales in your 5-area feeding region. Compare that 119.3 to 87,400 last week and 73,400 the same week a year ago. So a good movement, especially for a holiday week. And there was quite a bit of trade that went up through the week. Some lower sales down or up in the northern plains, and that pulled your weighted averages back a little bit. But the established market late in the week and still available even on Friday in many cases was $117 live, and that was $3 higher fully. Your weighted average on steers for the 5-area feeding region ended up being $115.39. That was $2.39 higher than the previous week's weighted average on steers. Heifers better because of not the heavyweight penalties. $115.90 on heifer weighted average. That was $2.60 better than the weighted average from the previous week on heifers. Your dress trade sales from 180 up to 185, but fully 185 established on Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and even some more of it coming on Friday after Thanksgiving on Black Friday there. But that was fully $7 higher. That's a big gains there as the market's showing its strength a little bit and starting to get the leverage back, and things are looking much better. Your weighted average on dress steers was 181.89. That was $4.51 higher than the dress steer weighted average of the previous week. Heifers higher again because of the lack of the heavyweight penalties. 182.25 on heifers. That was up $4.46 in the previous week. Nationwide negotiated sales 142,500 head. That's pretty strong. That's one of the biggest movements we've had all year long for the week. And there was some out front sales, 15 to 30 day sales, 2 to 4 week out front negotiated sales, but under 31,000 head, so that's not a big percentage. You look at your feeder cattle markets, your real-time index on Cattle Market Central, 145.33. That's up $1.56 from the end of last week, as we had some big sales, especially in the southern plains. I mean market type sales, not these big farmer feeder specials with all these fancy deals going on. I'm talking about meat and potatoes markets, corporate feeder type markets. Just guys getting in there buying cattle, hedging them, and I tell you what, they showed their strength. Oklahoma National Stockyards, 9,500 head on Monday. Feeders there steady to $3 higher. Some heavier weight feeders weighing up in the 8s and beyond, into the 900 pounds. Not a lot of them, and barely anything to compare to from the previous week. But some of those big heavy feeders were sharply higher, more so than the steady to 3 higher on the big feeding calves and the lighter weight yearlings. But calf prices, stocker type calves, $2 to $6 higher. Full advance there on the steers, but pretty darn good. Cattle Market Central here, we get information coming directly from the block during National Livestock's round. National Livestock, of those 9,500 head, over 2,400 head of them were belonged to National Commission, and they showed the sharply higher there. On your 6 weight calves was the best tested weight group, 417 head of 6-weight steers, averaged 634 at 147.64, and that was more than $10 higher than the previous week's market right before Thanksgiving there for national sale. But Joplin Regional Stockyards, 10,000 head of cattle in Joplin. You know, they had that cattle and feed report coming out on a Wednesday, and then your fat cattle trade higher on a Wednesday. It give those boys in Joplin, they're on top of things. Those Moore boys there and Jackie and all of them, they were on top of things. They got on the horn. They had a lot of guys with yearling cattle there. Easy to get a hold of there, not too far from the barn in every which direction in the four-state area there, and they got some cattle in there. Over 3,000 head of true yearling cattle in that 10,000 head round, where normally it would be all calves. But steer calves and yearlings $2 to $5 higher, heifer calves and yearlings steady to $3 higher. You know, had a good sale there. Rick Huffman, the journeyman market reporter there, has been in the business forever, sold cows at Southwest Regional Stockyards when he was a young man in Springfield, raised cattle all of his life, done it all. He also commented on there, you can trust his market reports, worked with him for many, many years. He did note in there that the weigh-ups were pretty full. Now, you see a lot of these market guys, reporters and even analysts and different people commenting on it and just saying things that they've heard other people say. When you get a man in there that knows what's going on, commented that they had a storm coming in there, what do cattle do before a big storm comes? They fill up. Well, even though we had good timing on the market, those cattle were fairly full coming through, even though they had a lot of true yearling cattle in there, and it might have hurt the sale on them just a little bit because the full weigh-ups in there. They had the right buyers in there, had some of the premier buyers from the Midwest in there themselves, sitting on the seats. They've bought millions of them. They're sitting there looking at the cattle. They know what they want to give for them. They know how far they can go. You look at a set of cattle there in Joplin there. They had a lot of those good yearlings, but I picked this big group out here, more than a load for sure. 88 head of 837-pound steers in Joplin, bring 156.50. That's a strong showing, and I'm not talking about any kind of premiums there. I'm talking about a market there. That's something you can trust and set your satchel down on. Let's go way out west there. Shasta Livestock Auction Yard in Cottonwood, California. Those guys had a big sale on Monday, and then they've all got to go to Reno on Wednesday, the 28th, because the Western Video Market's got big special video. You can view that at Western Video Market's website. You can go to DV Auction. You can view and bid right there. On Wednesday, the 28th, got a big video sale from Reno, Nevada for Western Video. But Shasta on Monday, I mean, selling calves. They got those fires kind of put out now. Starting to get some rain. There's going to be some winter grazing there. 175 head of steer calves, weighed 464 at $198. You think that's pretty good? Look at this slug of them in Shasta. 240 head of steers, weighed 456 at $204.85. They're bringing way more than out west than we can get for them here in the Midwest, even up in the northern plains. But Elgin, Nebraska, tell you what, you're not going to see this market reported anywhere. We're proud to have them. Cattle Market Central, good a sale as there is anywhere. Elgin, Nebraska had a big sale. 105 head of steer calves, weighed 635, bring 175.75. And look at these light cattle. Highest cattle you'll see in the central part of the United States so far this week. But they had 86 head of 499-pound steers, might as well say 500-pounders, 190 1/4. That's your feeder flash for Tuesday.